You ever walk into a building where everyone is smiling just a little too hard? Where the kombucha is free, the ping pong table is always available, but somehow nobody ever uses it? Where a 25-year-old in a hoodie tells you with complete sincerity that you're not just taking a job, you're joining a mission. Yeah, I've been there. And today, I'm going to walk you through every single level of a modern Silicon Valley tech coat, from the bright-eyed intern who just arrived with a Stanford degree and a dream, all the way up to the founder who hasn't made eye contact with another human being since 2019. Buckle up. This is going to hurt. Level 1, the recruit. It starts with a LinkedIn message. Hey, John, I came across your profile and I think you'd be a perfect fit for what we're building here at Company That Sounds Like a Sneeze. You don't know what they do. Their website has exactly 3 words on it. We build futures. Futures of what? Doesn't matter. You're intrigued. You go to the interview, except they don't call it an interview. They call it a culture conversation. Red flag number 1. You walk in and the office looks like someone gave a kindergartner a $40 million Series B and said, go nuts. There's a slide instead of stairs. There's a wall that says, fail fast, learn faster, in letters the size of a Buick. There's a dog. There are 3 dogs. One of them has a company email address. I'm not joking. The recruiter, the talent evangelist, tells you the salary is below market, but the equity more than makes up for it. Translation, we'll pay you in vibes and the theoretical possibility that this company might one day be worth something before it implodes in a blaze of SEC investigations. You say yes. Of course you say yes. You've been recruited into the cult. Welcome, fresh meat. Level 2, the onboarding. Day 1, they give you a MacBook Pro, a company hoodie, and a 47-page document called the Culture Bible. Not handbook, not guidelines, Bible. Chapter 1 is literally titled Our Why. You spend the first 3 days in onboarding sessions where senior employees tell you how the company is going to change the world. They say change the world so many times that the phrase loses all meaning and becomes just a sound, like a word you repeat until it dissolves. By day 4, you're saying it too. You get a Slack account, you have 47 channels to join. There's #general, #random, #wins, #gratitude, yes, a gratitude channel, #mindfulness, #hustle, and one called The Grind, which is just people posting their screen time stats at midnight like it's a competition. It is a competition. You post your first message and #wins, excited to be here. 17 people react with the rocket ship emoji. Rocket ship. You feel something. You don't know what it is yet. Later, you'll recognize it as the first symptom. Level 3, the true believer. 3 months in, this is where it gets dangerous. You've drunk the Kool-Aid, not sipped, chugged. You're the one now telling your friends at dinner about the mission. Your friends look at you the way people look at someone who just joined a pyramid scheme, with a mixture of concern and the desperate hope that you'll snap out of it before they ask you to invest. You started using words like synergy, bandwidth, move the needle, and let's take this offline, in real life, outside of work, to your mother. Your mom asks how you're doing. You tell her you're heads down on a high-impact initiative. She cries a little. You work 60-hour weeks, but you don't call it overwork. You call it being passionate. The company doesn't have overtime because they don't need it. They've convinced you that rest is for people who don't believe in the vision. You cancel plans, you miss birthdays, you eat lunch at your desk, which isn't even a desk, it's a collaboration surface, while attending a Zoom call that could have been an email, that could have been nothing, that could have simply not existed. But here's the thing. You're happy, or something that looks like happy from a distance. You found your tribe, your people.
Level 4, the mid-level manager. Congratulations, you got promoted.
You're now a people lead, not a manager. Never a manager. Managers are for corporations, and you're a family. And your job is keeping 8 people enthusiastic about working themselves into the ground for equity that will never vest. You say, "I see you," and "your growth matters to me," while telling them their output is not quite hitting the bar and they need to level up their ownership mindset. You've mastered corporate doublespeak. Bad news is an opportunity. Firing someone is a transition. Budget cuts are strategic resource reallocation. Losing $200 million is part of the journey. You're in meetings constantly, meetings about meetings, a pre-mortem for a project that hasn't started, a retrospective for a project that just quietly stopped existing. Your calendar has a deep work time block you've never once used because someone always books over it with a quick sync. Nothing is ever quick. Nothing is ever a sync. You leave at 9 p.m., you're back on your laptop by 10 p.m. because there's a Slack message with a ASAP emoji. And in this cult, that red circle is a bat signal. Your therapist, found through the company wellness benefit, which is the most Silicon Valley sentence ever spoken, says you have boundary issues. You tell her you'll action that feedback. She charges you $200. Level 5. The senior leadership team. Now we're getting somewhere dark. The SLT operates in a completely different reality. Their own hidden Slack channels, Napa Valley offsites for strategic visioning, which is just drinking expensive wine and arguing about the roadmap. They speak exclusively in frameworks. Everything is a 2x2 matrix. Every problem is a people problem or a process problem. Never, ever a leadership problem. Every quarter, the CEO takes a literal stage with a wireless mic and tells everyone that despite the layoffs, the missed targets, the free lunch replaced by a vending machine, the future has never looked brighter. People clap, real enthusiastic clapping, because by now the cult has done its work. They preach psychological safety while making it career suicide to disagree with the CEO. They preach radical transparency while hiding the burn rate from anyone below director level. They have a chief happiness officer. Someone's job title is to be in charge of your happiness, and somehow everyone is still miserable. Level 6, the founder. At the very top of the pyramid, the founder. Hasn't attended a meeting in 3 years, communicates through a chief of staff, VP, director, your manager, a Slack message that says founder wants to revisit the strategy, and somehow 17 people cancel their weekends. The founder has a thinking chair, an actual chair designated for thinking. Wakes up at 4:30 a.m., cold plunges, breath work, microdoses, a 4-hour morning routine, while the rest of the company is expected online by 8 a.m. Talks about servant leadership while having a personal assistant, private chef, driver, and a dedicated IT person just for their devices. Once sent a company-wide email at 2 a.m., just the word focus. No context, no subject line. People spent 3 days trying to decode it. And here's the terrifying part. The founder genuinely believes they're building something that will save humanity. Not help it, not improve it, save it. That messianic, unshakable, slightly unhinged belief is what makes the whole machine run. It trickles down through the SLT, through the managers, through the true believers, all the way to the fresh recruit on day 1, holding their culture Bible and their company hoodie. And the cycle begins again. The most effective cult in history doesn't need robes or a desert compound, just free snacks, a ping pong table, and a founder who's read too much Ayn Rand. It makes you feel like you're not working, you're belonging. Until deliverables start showing up in your dreams. The scary part? They don't know they're in it. The scariest part, some of them are watching this right now, and the second it ends, they're opening their laptop.